Hello, I'm Philip Stoten. I'm at CES in Las Vegas, and I'm joined by Mr. Laxman on the booth of TATA ELXSI. We all know the name Tata, but not the name TATA ELXSI. Start by telling me what TATA ELXSI does and the services you provide.
TATA ELXSI is one of the group companies of the Tata Group, which is a big conglomerate around more than 90 companies under it. TATA ELXSI basically does engineering services, product design, and is very focused with embedded product design.
Okay.
No IT or banking or anything, so very niche in product design. We have different multiple divisions in there, automotive being one of them. Another thing is medical electronics, where we see integration of in-car wellness coming in with the automotive electronics itself.
Okay.
One of the key divisions we have is industrial design. So if you look at, like we have the big displays and stuff in infotainment, a nice HMI is one of the keys, a nice thought out HMI, and then implementation of that. So that's the main thing TATA ELXSI brings in, is these different things onto on one table.
And where you sit in terms of the value chain, is it purely at the design end and then you hand that over to somebody else to manufacture? Would that then go to the car maker to manufacture, or are you involved in the manufacturing process?
No, we do not manufacture. Basically, being engineering services, we work with the OEMs, the car makers itself, in the verification validation area. We work with the tier ones, verification validation, as well as development. And then we work with both of these guys in terms of their new concepts, what they are bringing in, and that's where we add a lot of value, and that's where we are called as engineering creativity.
Okay, and that creativity comes from understanding what the market wants. Is that driven by you being out in the marketplace, looking at what technology is available and how to apply it, or is it driven by the car makers coming to you and say, hey guys, we need this solution, or we need this consumer solution, but in an automotive environment?
If you traditionally look at it, the car makers used to drive it, but now a whole lot of car is driven by consumer electronics. So it's not remained to the car maker alone. And so the whole value chain is right from the engineering services to the tier ones to the OEM are basically all running behind the consumer electronics and then trying to bring these devices, these technologies in. If you look at it, years back it would take like 36 months or so for a development. Today, if you look at a tier one, they have been asked to do things in 18 months or 12 months. And the industry or the consumer wants things as soon as the consumer electronics. A cell phone comes in 6 months. So they think, why not a car?
Yeah, well, we see the announcements on the stage here, and we want to go into the showrooms and pick up the products. And that's really interesting because the other area you're in is not dissimilar. Medical electronics used to be this much slower moving, but it's also becoming consumerized. From a point of view of an engineering company, how do you deal with the challenge to shorten those design cycles without compromising quality, without compromising reliability, and with all the approvals you need to go through for automotive and medical like FDA? Is that a big challenge, and has that changed the way you develop products?
Yeah, it is a challenge, and then that challenge brings innovation, right? So if you look at the industry, in infotainment, there was no standardization. But now you look at Genevi, Automotive Grade Linux, all these different companies trying to bring in standards. These standards are going to reduce the turnaround time, and that's where innovation and other things is coming in place. Now, one of the simple example, people at this point are saying, why not I have a display and my cell phone becomes my infotainment and use either the Apple CarPlay, the Google or Android Automotive, or the MirrorLink, and use these to kind of run your displays. So that's, again, you can see that these challenges is bringing in new values, and people want quick turnaround. And if they have their cell phones showing up there, it is. But of course, there will be some regulations, there will be some things not allowed because you're driving the car, and that's where all these different standards are coming in, and the standards will drive this.
And when you're bringing products to market really quickly, you have to develop, but you have to design and develop a supply chain at the same time. Do you get involved in that concurrent process?
Directly as engineering services, we do not directly deal in that supply chain, but then we have few engagements because of our companies in there where we do some program management also. So that's where we are involved in this supply chain and managing this supply chain for one of our customers.
Okay, and you're here at CES, exciting show, automotive. again, a bit of the star of the show. Seems to be doubling in size every year at the moment. What's it been like the last couple of days for you guys?
Couple of days pretty good. I mean, we have a lot of meetings set, plus you get a lot of foot traffic too, and then everybody is looking at different things that we are showing. It's kind of exciting to see new ways of doing HMI, integrations of those, security, lot of talk, but now you see wearable devices. It's another big thing coming up. And we actually have a system sitting here where we are showcasing how things from the cluster, let's say you're going above 60 miles an hour, it basically goes off to your watch notifying, oh, you're up, or your fluid levels are down, kind of giving indications. So that's coming. And what we plan to do is, how about in the future, you have the car steering wheel, put the sensors on there, it can kind of figure out the stress level of the person and start communicating back and maybe put a soothing music for the person. I don't know, but start getting some artificial intelligence type of things in there. So that's where we see where this future might go to.
And that's where your skills in the medical sector, in the automotive sector, in consumer electronics and wearables all merge as those industry lines blur so much. Mr. Laxman, thank you very much for your time. Thanks for talking to me.